talk community in a long time. Um, I think personally we all kind of stayed away from that. I think there's a lot of drama in the community. I think there's a lot of stuff that's negative, and we don't really talk about negative stuff here a lot. We have a lot of fun on this podcast. I don't know, you guys hang out, you guys watch us, you hear us. It's mostly fun. A lot of the podcasts been shorter because we did cut out a lot of negative talk or stuff like that. But I personally think that stuff like this needs to be talked about, and people underestimate me. I think they've underestimated me for a long time, but I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this game, and I joke around a lot, but I'm still good, guys. I promise. Promise. Um, but yeah, I've been busy because Pokemon Snap dropped last night. Almost didn't make this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys. They both said they're on vacation, couldn't do it. I was like, I'm a solo dolo this. Then I just got hooked. I got hooked on the Pokemon Snap. I was gonna stream it, but like I really feel like I want to progress in the game before I stream it because the beginning's very slow. Like you don't have all the items, you can't do the things you really want to do that are more interactive. Um, I feel once I get through the game where I have all the items, I can start doing stuff and doing challenges like achievements and stuff. I think that'd be a lot more fun. Once Rahul comes back, I think we're gonna do stuff together where we try to beat each other's scores on different Pokemon. So that should be fun. But if you guys do like want me to start streaming, I mean, just let me hit me up in the comments and start streaming, boys, and I'll probably just do it. But I just thought the game was gonna start real slow, and I don't know. There's to be honest, the first level it was like super slow, and like I'm not super far into it. Like I played like the first level. There's like three maps on the first level, which is if going further into the game, if there's three versions of each map, that's gonna be really cool. So there's gonna be a lot of content I can pump out. Uh, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Let me progress in the game. I'm still level one, or I'm level two. So I don't know how many levels you can get, but I'm only level two. So let's get a little further, and then I'll start streaming. Um, Player Cup 3 ended. Azul showed us all that Urshifu is good. Um, I mean, did anyone really doubt Azul? I don't. I mean, in an era where some of the best players in the world are not playing as much as they used to, Azul is not one of those. Azul is one of the best players in the world that continue to stream and pump out games over and over and putting out content, and he does this for a living. So it's just like he's one of those top players that just never stop playing. So I'm not surprised that he won this tournament. I'm not surprised at all. I think going into IRL players like Azul, like Mahone, like these type of players that never stop playing and were at the top of the heap are going to be the favorites to win a lot of regionals coming up because uh, if you do take a break, it's tough. It's tough to get your footing back, and um, I mean, it's not super tough. You just gotta start playing a little bit more. You'll get back into it, and you'll be all right. But you're not going to be on the same level as someone like Azul, who never stopped, who went through the pandemic completely just killing it, never stopped making content, never stopped playing, played his heart through the ADP horrible era, continued, and it shows. You know, he won Player Cup 3, which is awesome. And Player Cup 4 just started. I'm gonna probably do what Will said and just try probably stream my 30 keys in one day or some shit. Um, so no, I haven't touched them. I do want to see how the meta kicks off because I think things are very interesting. Because if you guys do remember, I think a lot of people, not just myself, predicted that the Urshifu's would not do so well in an era of tag teams, and Azul won the whole tournament with it, and Rule's done really well with the Urshifu deck, and we've seen the Rapid Strike do really well, which is surprising. Like, people want to sit here and pretend like it's not surprising, but it is. Like, those cards don't look overwhelming, you know? Um, but they give you options, which I think a lot of decks didn't have options. You have decisions to make in the deck, where I think we played a very streamlined, brain dead format for a while. And now that gave us options, which I think a lot of people jumped on board on that. It felt really good to play at. I played it at a local event, and it felt really good to play. But if we look at Limitless, if we look at online tournaments now, it's kind of coming true. It's kind of coming true because I'm looking at the last three online tournaments, and there's no Rapid Strike in the top 10. And to be honest, there was only two Rapid Strikes in the Player Cup 3 finals. Like, it was Azul and Tord, which are great players, but the rest were not, you know. So, but if we look at that, we see a very high uptick. If you go on Limitless and look, there's a very high uptick in a Mew 3 Rillaboom with egg roll, and I think that's very devastating to a deck like the Rapid Strikes or Single Strike, either one. Mewtwo's one shots it, and there's nothing I can really do. It's already slow. It only hits like 120. I think it plays like Sharon, so like even if it hits you, you can heal the damage off your egg roll because it already just doesn't have energy. Um, there's just a lot of things that that deck does that just says Urshifus suck. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I like the development of a meta, and we're finally seeing something like that. I felt like we didn't have enough cards or enough change. We played the same format for almost 6 months, if you really think about it, because we only had very mini sets, and even the set before, I think our first set was there was no real good cards in it that changed the format. Which set was that? It was the set with evasion or whatever. There was just not any cards in that changed the format. So we kind of played a stale format for a long time, and now we're seeing development because people jumped on the Urshifu's early. Jumped on the Urshifu's early, which um, I guess should have been suspected, right? People want to play new cards. The new cards are not horrible. They're not horrible at all. They obviously won. Rule and Azul and Tord all doing great with the deck. It has potential, but I think we're now seeing what everyone else predicted is that these tag teams, especially Mew 3, um, will overpower the Urshifus. They just will. And so going forward, we might just see a bounce back, you know, back and forth. Because let's be real, Mew 3 before the Urshifu's wasn't fantastic, you know. It wasn't bad. I mean, that the welder version of that deck has always been decent. We've seen Eggroll do pretty well. it's never top tier, but it was there. So I think it's thriving now off of the Rapid Strike decks, which is given. But we'll see going forward. It's something to look at, especially if you're playing Player Cup 4 right now. That deck's really great because if if you're not someone that just lives and dies Pokemon, you're not on Limitless, and you're not seeing the development of the format. But you do have YouTube, and you did watch Azul just dominate with Urshifu. Your thought process is Urshifu's the best deck. Tord played it, so did Azul, so I'm gonna play this in Player Cup 4, and then as a player that watches and develops the format, you can go, hey, Mute, I'm gonna eat these Urshifu decks with this egg roll deck that people are playing with Mew 3 and Rillaboom, and just instantly like power up a Mew 3 and just one shot Urshifus all day. So that's something to look at when if you are competing in Player Cup 4 right now. Let's look at some leaks. We had some leaks this week. I think there's new Marnie arts, which isn't very important. There's a Marnie promo collection. All of them got a Hop, whatever this BB got one. It's kind of cool. Nothing changed. It's still just Marnie. It's just another art, which everyone, value-wise, collectors-wise, that's a good card to pick up. Like, I think those cards hold value. Those fucking Weeboos or whatever. The waifus. Love that stuff. We'll see. Everybody got their boss's order. I think we all talked about that on PTCR. Make sure you get your boss's order for free. We had the Eevee Heroes teaser set reveal in Japan. Not yet. This is probably gonna be our September. Gonna be in our September set, because the other one's pretty much locked down. I don't know if we kind of went over all of them. We got Chilling Reigns pretty much locked down. Yeah, so this is definitely going to be in our September set, not our June set. I want to talk about some of these cards in Chilling Reign after I do the EVs. So in the EVs, we'll start off. I don't know if this isn't the full set. I'm gonna say. I want to say every Eevee is gonna have a max because they just show Espeon VMAX. But when I read the basic Vs, it feels very underwhelming. As if they evolve. You know what I'm saying? Most of the Pokemon that evolve into VMAXs are underwhelming. So like Leafeon V does have an ability, which is I don't know. This ability isn't for like once during your turn you may search your deck for a grass energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you do this, your turn ends. Sounds horrible right off the bat. You know, ending your turn sucks. It just does. But the thought process here is, do you want, I'm comparing it to Zacian. Obviously, Zacian's a way better card. You draw 3. Its attack is way better. It can attach energy to itself on top of drawing 3. Like, it's a lot. But the concept of doing an ability that ends your turn, this is kind of the same, you know? This one automatically accelerates 1 energy on your first turn. So if you do go first, can't attack, can't do anything anyways. Um, you can put two energies on the board, attach and Leafeon's ability, which not horrible. Not It's not great, but it's not horrible. Um, then you have Flareon, who's basically just does 120 for three. Attaches one fire energy from your deck for one energy, and only does 20. It's not great. It does 140 for three because it burns, but very underwhelming because even 140 doesn't two shot things, you know, which isn't great, and it takes three, which is a welder, not great. That's why I think it has a VMAX because like 140 for three just doesn't seem, unless this is like one of those gimmicky um little sets like Shining Fates and stuff, and we're just like don't really care what the cards do, and we're just there to collect the EVs. Then okay, maybe there isn't VMAXs for these cards, and they do just suck. But we do see an Espeon VMAX, which is why I think that everyone's gonna have a VMAX. Maybe. Um, yeah, Vaporeon for one it draws three. Um, and then for three it does 90 and switches. Again, not great. Yeah. And yeah, Glaceon for one, you search your deck for a card that evolves from a Pokemon and put it into your hand. Or put it onto I'll put it onto and then evolve the Pokemon. That's not horrible. That's not bad. Like for one water, you can just evolve your Pokemon. Like that could help a stage two Pokemon pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That's not horrible. Except you can't do it on your first turn because you can't attack. If you go first, you can do it if you go second. But then you're down. Maybe it helps you if you go second because you kind of skip a turn because you can evolve. I don't know. And then for three, it does 120 discard stadium. We are going to go into a Stadium War era. I think Rahul talked about it. There are really good stadiums coming out, so that's not horrible either. But for three, it's just underwhelming. Again, I think there's a VMAX, or I hope there's a VMAX. You know what I'm saying? Jolteon's the most underwhelming, by far. Like every single one of these Pokemon have at least 100 or 200 HP. It has 190. For one, it does 20 to two of your opponent's Pokemon. Not great. And then for three, it does 60, and you have to flip 4 coins. It does 60 for each heads. So like I guess you get four heads, you could hit 240. It's just horrible. And it has the lowest HP. That's why we pray for the VMAXs, boys. We play for the VMAXs. Then we have Espeon, which does have a VMAX that is shown in the set. So for one psychic, it does 60 damage, and your does 60 damage to one of your opponent's B Pokemon. So it can snipe for 60 onto a V. Or it can end a V for 60. Okay. And then it does plain 120 damage for three, which is horrible. Right. It's just not good, but it has a VMAX. I'll kind of just jump to the VMAX because we're here. The VMAX, which is I don't think it's great. It has an ability. As long as this Pokemon is in play, each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it isn't affected by effects from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon and removes existing effects. So such as burn, any effect that attack would do doesn't work if there's an energy on that Pokemon, on any of your Pokemon. So if there's an energy, no effects work on it, which is not horrible, not great. It's more of a convenient thing. Like, oh, it's cool. Hopefully the attack is good, and thank you for stopping things, I guess. For 3 to 60 times, and a 60 damage times the number of energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. It's a punishing card. Um, if effects of attacks become prevalent, I could see this in a psychic deck. Just throw it in there, and then it can you can punish decks that like to sack energy with it, and also benefit from the ability. That's the only way I see it have play. I don't think this is a deck on its own, unfortunately. But going back up, we have Sylveon, which also has the ability. Once your turn, you may search your deck for one item card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you use this to end your turn. We're back at the whole Zacian, the Leafeon thing. I think this one, obviously, it's not better than Zacian. I don't want to say it's better than Zacian, but I do think going and getting the one item card that you want feels better than drawing 3. Maybe. Kind of not. It matters what you're playing. I don't know. Because, like, drawing 3 could randomly get, like, if you're dead, you're hoping you draw into a quick ball. With this, you just go get a quick ball, go get a Dedenne, move on with your life. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know. I think there's a debate in there that I think I would have had if the two homies were here, but I think they both of them benefit differently. And also you just shouldn't compare the two cards. Their abilities are similar, except Zacian's is super overpowered. So has a little more perks to it. But for 2 energies, it just does 60. That's so bad. Like, it's living and dying off that ability to be good. Um, which it might be good. It might be good. I don't know. And we just pray for the VMAX to, or if we're praying they're into VMAX. You know what I'm saying? And then let's go down. It's like fan favorite Umbreon here. For one dark energy does 30. The defending Pokemon can't retreat. That's not horrible. Like, I've seen people win off of using corner with Rockruff. Right? It could get you there. And then for 3, dark DC does 80 damage. If your opponent has any damage counters on it, it's stacked with 80 more damage. So 160 for 3 if there's damage counters on it. If not, then it's just 80, which is not great. Then we have a few basic Pokemon. We finally, I'm excited for this one. We have a Florges, a stage 2 Pokemon that is a Rapid Strike Pokemon. It is a Rapid Strike Pokemon, and it has an ability that, as many times as you want during your turn, you may move energy from one of your Pokemon to another, one of your Rapid Strike Pokemon. Um, I wonder if it's Rapid Strike to Rapid Strike, because from what it reads Pokemon to a Rapid Strike. So, um, that means you could have a non-Rapid Strike in your deck that accelerates energy to itself or something like that, and then able to move it to that to a Rapid Strike Pokemon, which could be really cool if it does. If it is Rapid Strike to Rapid Strike, there's limit. I mean that you just can't do that. But um, what this means is those mustard supporters, Archie's things finally have a target. Because this ability is good enough in a situation where if we have a way to accelerate energies onto the board, um, and we have a good Pokemon that benefits from having different energies on it, or um, lots of energy on it, something like that. Or we get a healing card where you move all the energies off, heal, put all the energies on, stuff like that. Then I could see this card finding a way to be played with the mustard supporters, which I'm excited for. I love that type of thing. Do I know if we have the ability to get our hand down to zero with the cards that we have in standard? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to mess around with it. I don't. We'll see. But this card at least gives people an opportunity to try that. Right now we just don't have that. We have nothing that's even worth even trying to get out with the mustard card. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of cool. So hopefully in September we see decks like that pop up. Um, what else do we have? I don't know. We don't have a lot of stuff here. That's it. I think there's gonna be a lot more. Um, okay. We do have Gengar Remax, which does 60 damage. The attack of the does 60 damage to number of V's on your opponent's side, or GXs in play. So 60 times, say they got a full bench of, so 5 times 60, you're talking 300 damage. Not really killing anything. Not killing big stuff, killing littler stuff, which, I mean, what's with the full bench? Like, it's tough. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? These cards are good against decks that force themselves to have large benches. They're not good against decks that don't care how big their bench is. A good player just won't bench stuff, and then you're doing 120 and then getting smacked. So not great. But I guess for two it does that, and then for three it does 250, which but you can't use it the next turn. So I mean, with a mixture of 250 and a 120, you're not getting out of anything. There's potential there. The card looks cool. Go check those arts out on Poke Beach. We have another Inteleon V and VMAX. I don't know what. I'm pretty sure. Did we have a V? Was it a V or was it a GX? Pretty sure it was a V. I thought we already had one. The VMAX, once during your turn, it's its ability. You may discard a water energy from your head if you do put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That's double feather arrow by discarding a water. Hmm. Hmm. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm pretty sure there's cards to get water energy back from your discard pile, like water bucket or something. Hmm. That's pretty good. It's kind of double a Decidueye. A double feather arrow for 1 energy? It's a good trade in my opinion. 320. Um, its attack for 2 water, or no, water colorless, is Whirlpool 170 plus. You may return an energy to attach to this Pokemon to your hand. If you do, it does 170 more, or it does 70 more. So it could do one. It can do 140. It can do 140, or it can do 70 if you return an energy to your hand, which isn't bad. Returning 1 energy to your hand isn't bad. Um, hmm. I think that this card's actually really good. I don't know how good Feather's arrows are with the HP being so high. and you're only doing 140. So let's see, if you hit something. Okay, so let's just say, theoretically think about this. It only hits the bench too. Hmm. Yeah, that if it hit the active, it would be a lot better because you could go like four, which you can go four that hits 80 on one Pokemon, plus 140, 220. You're almost one-shotting. You're one-shotting like V's if you could hit the active. You could do bosses play and do something like that. It's not bad. It's not bad. All right. We have a supporter here. It says search your deck for 3V Pokemon. Reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Not horrible. Not great. Could see play. So, yep, and that's all the leaks for that. Let's take a look at I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we can't really take a look at it, but the the cards coming out of this for what is it, Frost, whatever, Silverlance or something. The secret rares all and the full arts and the alternate all arts all been revealed. Like, go head over to Pebble Beach and check those out if you haven't already. Um, they're beautiful. The cards are beautiful. It's insane. Yeah, they've stepped up their game 100%. It's not even close. These cards are 10 times better than any GX that we've ever had. So definitely go check those out. Um, that's pretty much Pokemon news. I think that's overall that's all like the general Pokemon news that we had this week. But I mean, there's always community news. We have some trolleys out there making what's it call it? Yeah, let me go on Twitter real quick. There was they made some council, and I'm like, dude, this can't be real. I was messaging people. I'm like, what are we doing out here? People are saying it's troll. Some people are saying it's real. I'm pretty sure it's just troll. Because they banned some deck that shouldn't have been banned, so it looks super troll. I asked Isaiah if it was troll. He said it was troll. But I just think that's funny. Um, we had, I mean, we haven't done a long time. Um, I think personally we all kind of stayed away from that. I think there's a lot of drama in the community. I think there's a lot of stuff that's negative, and we don't really talk about negative stuff here a lot. We have a lot of fun on this podcast. I don't know, you guys hang out, you guys watch us, you hear us. It's mostly fun. A lot of the podcasts been shorter because we did cut out a lot of negative talk or stuff like that. But I personally think that stuff like this needs to be talked about, and I think um, just avoiding it is kind of dumb. Um, I think it's selfish, and I think it's safe. And I don't think we are safe here. I don't think we've ever been safe, and I think it's very not like this podcast to care what people thought, and um, I feel like we haven't done you guys justice. You know what I'm saying? I know we took a few week break or whatever, and we came back, and the podcast's been shorter, and things have been not. I would say it's just not as good as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I think without a we didn't have like a meeting. I don't think we sat down together and decided that we're not going to talk about this stuff. I think an overall perspective to ourselves, we just, as a group, we talked about it in a group chat, and that was good enough for us. Like, we felt like, I never thought, for the last few weeks, I don't think we ever felt like we needed to address the drama or address the things that were happening in the community. Um, and I think that was wrong of us to do. As a podcast, I think we should talk about stuff like this. I think starting conversations, especially in the space that we promote, because we promote so much positivity, um, we should talk about the negative stuff. We should talk about Zach Lesage getting um, bullied, and uh, and I'm gonna say bullied because that's the word. That's what people are doing. Um, I am, and we can talk about Kay. We should came out with that whole video about the Pokemon content creators just belittling her. Like, we'd never talked about that. There's other stuff we didn't talk about, and um, it's not fresh in my mind anymore. But I do. I mean, I'll address that stuff. I think Zach Lesage. You guys had him. He's been on the podcast. You guys listened to him talk, and I I I was not. I was, out of every interview he's probably ever done, I think I'm the only one who's pointed out his flaws, and because that's how my podcast is. That's how it is. But if you don't want to talk, I'm never forced anyone to talk about anything. I will take anything out of any podcast that anyone ever doesn't want on the podcast that we've talked about. This is a safe place to talk, but I'm not gonna ask you something that everyone wants to know. You know what I'm saying? When he was on the podcast, we talked about him cheating. We talked about a lot of stuff that he's done that is negative, and how he's got out of it, and he had no problem talking about it. It was fine. And I think that's how you should address stuff. After the podcast, he did fumble through a few times. He had the whole Coochie Boy 3000 thing or whatever, which was funny, and wasn't a big deal. It looked bad on him. It felt like he was stumbling, you know. He had some other stuff come and go. It just felt like every time Zach Lesage was on a roll, he would stumble and do something that someone would call out, you know. That does look bad. It just does look bad, and um, but at the end of the day, that gives no one the right to bully a person. Like, it just doesn't. It's insane. Um, people have different skin. You know what I'm saying? For myself, I personally don't give a shit what you guys say about me. You guys could write. Someone could go on Hey Fonte and write a 20-page paper about um anything about me, and I would move on with my life. Um, because I've set myself with a group of people that I care about, that basically their opinions are what matters to me. But that's not the case for everyone. I think everyone should understand that, and I think I'm someone who pushes that people should just do what I do, and I think that's not always 100% right either. I think um, it's wrong for me to assume that everyone should stop interacting with shitty people and should just get their core friends and care about what they say. And I think that's a solution to a lot of people's problems. Um, but it's also not in the nature of everybody. Someone like Zach Sudge does take the stuff that you guys say about him to heart. Um, and he spoke about it on Twitter and stuff, and I don't blame him. That you shouldn't get bullied. You shouldn't bully people. We're most of us are adults now, to be honest. Like Bradner just turned 17. Like he was a child. He's basically an adult at this point. So most of us in this community are adults at this point. For stuff like that to be happening, it's very childish, and you guys should really reflect on yourself if you're bullying people based off things that are out of people's control. It's one thing to talk shit about Zach Lesage for cheating, or talk shit about Zach Lesage for all the fuck ups he done, but to harass someone off of something they have no control over is, I mean, harassing people in general is just wrong. But to do it for something that no one has control of is ridiculous. So, if you're watching this podcast and you are one of those people, you could just stop. You could just stop watching this podcast. I don't care. I could care less about you. We don't do that shit around here. We just don't. And if it is done around here, I expect people to call me out. I expect a comment that says, "Zach, I thought we didn't do shit like this." You know? And it's well deserved. I think anyone who's bullying people or says something about something that they have no control over should be called out. And I think that's where we're at. When it comes to the whole K thing, that video is really good. You should watch it. It's very it's a basic story about how a female in K, she got into the content creating area of Pokemon, and she hung out with Pokemon YouTubers who belittled her and belittled people based off subscribers. I'll tell you right now, if anyone ever asked me about my subscriber count, I'll throw hands. Like, my 250 subscribers, all of them motherfuckers are better than your million or whatever you have. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I've never cared about subscribers. Do I want this channel to grow? Yes. Do I want you guys to subscribe? Do I want you guys to share? Do I want a bigger platform? Yes. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal to me. Like, I do this because I like the game. I enjoy hanging out, talking Pokemon with people. I enjoy helping people. If I wanted a high subscriber count, I would have never took my platform off of Soccer Scoop. That's over 20k fucking subscribers. Like, and in the Pokemon world, 20k subscribers is a lot, boys. I don't know if you go and look at people like Tablemon, and then 20k is a lot. And I said I took my platform off of that. So, like, I don't want to hear anything about subscribers. And I think that's not even the point. The point is for someone to even mention that stuff. It's already such a negative situation. And then to belittle her because she's a female, she's in a space that is dominated by men, and to sexual, it's pretty much sexual harassment. What was happening there? They degraded her name and set her up for failure, you know. And her coming out and talking about it is great. And I personally thought it was the Pokemon TCG community, which would be very disheartening to me because the content creators in this space that I know, the Tablemons, the Azules, the Sylveon networks, like, these guys I know personally, and they're good people. So it was hard. I was like, this can't be that. And I talked to Rahul, and it's not. It's the Pokemon YouTubers, that world, not the TCG world. Um, which makes sense to me. They're very high subscriber count people. Egos get very high. Um, People start thinking they have power over people based off stuff like that, and it's sickening. And if you, I don't want to dive too far into it because I'm not gonna give the story justification. You should go listen to it yourself. Um, it's just wrong, and I'm glad she's talked about it. She's in a better spot, and things are good, but it didn't need to be said. It is what it is. And then allegedly we had Joey Rudiger using another player in the community's picture as a joke on Discord. I can't say if it was him or wasn't him. If it was him, I'm real disappointed in that. I've not I haven't interacted with Joe Rudiger too much. I've seen him at regional stuff. I've talked to him. I was gonna have him on the podcast at one point. Seemed like a nice guy. I've never had issues with him. I don't know him personally. Um, I'm sure Roll would have more to say about it. I think he knows him a little better. Maybe. I'm not even sure if that's true. Um, but it's just there's no need for this stuff. You're just like, it's not funny. It's not like, again, we're all old now, guys. It's insane. It's insane. Grow up. Like, this isn't a kid's game anymore. I'm trying to explain to these people. When you have someone that's like Bradner, who's like, was the youngest fucking prodigy kid, and he's 17. He's the youngest. Like, we're old now, guys. Grow up. Stop putting this stuff in, like doing stuff like this. This is bullying. Again, there's no need for this. Um, there just isn't. It's funny, to nobody. Like, stuff like that is just not funny. Um, and no one wants that. No one wants their picture as a joke. Like, it comes back to everyone's skin is thicker, different thicknesses. Like for me, um, you wanna use my face as a joke, go right ahead. I don't care. Don't care. It doesn't bother. Um, but just know I'm gonna see you. You know, it's easy to do it to people that are more innocent. You know, like how about you do that to my face? Do that to my face. Let me see it. You know, I'm not gonna make a fucking Twitter post, but one day you're gonna see me face to face. You know, and then we'll talk about it. You know, but people want to attack weaker people, and that is the cowardice shit. You know what I'm saying? So again, just cut the bullshit, dude. Cut the bullshit. No more bullying in this community. Um, we just don't need it. And I think people like that, like, you don't have to cancel people like that. You just don't. I wouldn't interact with shit like that. Like, if it's true, Joe Ruger did stuff like that. I'm not witch hunting Joe Ruger, but I'm not hanging out with Joe Ruger. I'm not. I don't care what Joe Ruger does at this point. Then, you know what I'm saying? Again, we have to be bigger people on both sides of the fence. What he did, it's all alleged. I don't know. People out there might know that if it's confirmed or whatever, but um, yeah, if it's true, I see him different, you know. But I'm not attacking anyone. Both sides, guys. Like I said, both sides. You're better. It's just better to stop interacting with people like that. Move on. Um, Hopefully they learn from their mistakes. They make an apology. Um, I don't think anyone gets canceled. You know what I'm saying? Um, Even though it's horrible. It's horrible. You shouldn't do shit like that. Like I said, no more bullying, guys. None of that. And if you're that type of person that interacts with people on social media, um, in a way or a manner like that, you can unsubscribe. Again, I don't give a shit about subscribers. So that's kind of like a 3 weeks, 4 weeks kind of talk about community drama that we've avoided. And I think it's better that I just talked about it myself. I think people like Rahul and people like Bradner tend to stay away from stuff like that because they don't want to get sucked into it, and it's more my style. I think we should talk about it. I think we should address stuff like this. I think we have a voice and we should use it. Um, that's why I said it. And again, around here, always spread the positivity. Um, that's all we do. Spread positivity. We try to make people better. Um, Again, you can DM any three of us on Twitter, and we have no problem talking to anyone about decks, about life, about bullying. If people are bullying you or something like that, and you want someone to talk to, you can always DM me. You can always DM Roel. You can always DM Bradner. Like, we're all three very positive people. We've all three will we have no problem talking to anyone about any issue. And if something I was said in this podcast offended you or you felt was not right, you can make a hate font post if you want, or you can DM me, whatever you want to do. That's fine. I'd rather you DM me about it, but if you want to make a post, that's fine. But just spread positivity, guys. Spread the positivity. I'm sure next week we'll be back with the whole gang. We'll talk what happens next week in Pokemon. Hopefully me and Raul are on that Pokemon Go grind. And I hope you guys tune into the streams. Head over to twitch.faded_town and follow that shit right now. I think links are in the description. So go follow that. That's where I'm going to be streaming. Rules, I'm not sure what his Twitch is, but I'll figure that out, and I'll tweet that, or he'll tweet that out. So just make sure you follow us all on Twitter. But that's all for this week, guys. Longer podcast. Solo, deadload, bust out. We have more to talk about. But yep, that's it, guys. I'll catch you guys next week with a breakdown. Things are coming. I know I always say things are coming, but they're taking longer than I thought they would. But yep, for now, guys, we're gonna scoop it up.